Yo guys, what's going on? Robert Warshack here, and we are going to be going over the best decks I've seen on ladder since the new mini set Throne of the Tides. The meta is actually shaping up to be quite diverse. Some of the other decks that were good before the patch are still good, and there are some up and coming decks that have some new cards in them. First one's going to be Charge Warrior. So before it was Quest Warrior or AAECAZ Warrior. Now we're seeing basically a ton of people play this Charge Warrior. They can get the combo off really fast. The combo is to the front, and then of course you play your Galv, and then you play your Battlegrounds Master, which give it Wind Fury, and then you use Faceless Manipulator on your Captain Galv, and you can do like 18 damage, upwards of 36, and you can even, if you get the whole combo, you can do well over 40 damage. So it has all of the aspects, basically Control Warrior, but you have like a really good endgame finisher, and it's good against any other control deck. It's good against OTK decks, and it's good against aggro decks. So right now, this deck is like performing super duper well on ladder right now. A little bit harder to play because knowing when to use your combo and how to mulligan properly in the certain matchups is really important. But we're seeing this rendition of Warrior a lot more than like the AAECAZ Warrior and of course the Quest Warrior. Moving to Murloc Shaman. This is not a meme. This is not a drill. We're actually talking about it. So Clownfish is basically what makes this deck really good. It's a 3-mana 3/2 Battlecry. Your next 2 Murlocs cost 2 less. So if you have coin or something, it's basically like Deathrattle kind of. You coin this out and then you can play 2 South Coast Chieftains. You can go ahead and play the Mercenaries, and it's basically just like, it's like a 12-8 in stats or an 11-8 in stats on basically on turn 2 or turn 3 if you have coin or not, along with 2 other 2-drops. So the card's just kind of insane. Also, of course, you have like Nofin Can Stop Us and the new Tide Lost Burrow. This guy's really good if you can hit like Flurgirl or maybe even like a War Leader. So again, the deck's very early game based and making sure you're mulliganing basically for the Clownfish. It's a very high roll. Like once you're on board, you don't want to lose it. I would say I don't say it plays like old Zoo Warlock, but like board is the only way you win with this deck, and there's no comeback mechanics. So as soon as they wipe your board like once, unless you have some reload in your hand, it's going to be tough to come back. It also runs the 1 Bloodlust to finish up with the end game Brocon, but most games don't even get to that long. So yeah, Murloc Shaman, very fast games, very like just as fast as Face Hunter, if not sometimes faster. Yo, I appreciate you for watching. If you do like the content, you do like the channel, remember subscribing, liking, and commenting on the videos really helps the channel out, shows it to more people, and it allows me to keep doing what I do, which is make the content I hope you like to enjoy. And if not, that's okay too. I'll see you in the next. So we have 2 Paladin decks, one of them being at least okay-ish in my eyes, and that's going to be the Holy Paladin. This is a control deck, and how you win is late game carry L, and then of course you sit there and just buff the cards in your hand, or particularly smite, and then you kill your opponent with like a large sum of burst damage. I guess it's kind of like Charge Warrior. Both are control. They both win with a charge, so I guess it's hard to complain. But the way the Paladin plays out, man, I don't know what it is. But yeah, Holy Paladin really good right now as well. I basically just mirror this into like Control Warrior. It does relatively the same thing. Instead of armor gain, you have a shit ton of healing, and instead of winning with charge Wind Furies with discounts, you're winning with hero powered smites. So, and with the right hand, it's good against pretty much just anything. All right, we have Mech Paladin. So this is going to be a very nice, easy, in my opinion, pretty budget deck for any like beginner or intermediate player to play. This deck, like I said, it runs like all minions besides like the 2 radar detectors, which is the only spell in the deck, which basically just draw you more minions. You play the green card on the turn that is green, and you do that until like turn 7 when you finally play carry L, and then you just kind of just win the game. It's a very easy deck, and if you're looking to climb, this is a deck. But if you're looking to actually improve your gameplay and be a better player, and like if you're looking to get like pretty high ranks, you know, once you hit to like around that 1-2K Legendist, you will never see anybody play like this kind of deck. Like they just move to other things that have a more skill expression, is what they like to call it. But if you're trying to climb ladder, you don't want to really put the brain on, you had a few drinks, Mech Paladin is there for you. Got Naga Priest. It's actually a new one. It started popping up right before the mini set actually released, and with that, and continued to do well. This deck, it looks like a pile of shit. You really don't know what's going on, but then you play against it or you start playing it and you're like, wow, there's like a lot of stuff going on here. And it really all has to do with the Serpent Wig getting buffed. So give a minion +1/+2, and you just do this, and you have a shit ton of minions, and those minions draw minions, and those minions get buffed and reduce spells, and it just gets really out of hand. And then you combo the minion with like 15 to 20 health. Sounds like a lot. It's really not that much with this deck. And you give it Bless, and you basically can kill your opponent in one turn. I had some priest play like 14 wigs against me in one turn. It was like absurd. So this pretty hard deck to play. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be very difficult, much different than the Mech Paladin. But if you're looking for a challenge, you're looking to play a lot of buffs and to do a lot of really unique things and basically hit your opponent in the face with a giant Naga, this is going to be your pick for sure. Also, Priest not having a really good spot in this meta, but having like a more mid-range combo Naga deck like this is kind of interesting, especially the fact that this popped up weeks after the expansion came out. Like, this is like a pretty fresh new deck. People are still obviously tweaking it and playing with it, but this is the list that I guess pulled up and had the highest amount played with the highest win rate. Moving to Hunter. So it is not Quest Hunter, it is not Beast Hunter, it is Naga Face Hunter. We played this deck from like, this is the first deck we actually played. We played it from like bronze all the way to like plat or diamond. It was like plat or something. It did really good. The new Ancient Krakenbane, 3 mana 3/3, deal 5 if you cast 3 spells, and you have a bunch of spells in the deck, right? So super good there. The deck performed very nicely. We have a decent amount of 1-drops. Trog and Peasant, which make and the Slither Spear. So Doggy Biscuit on 2 with these cards is really good. I opted for the 1 ramming mount because there is a decent amount of 3-drops in here with Aim Shot, the new Krakenbane, Mancrick, Naga's Pride. So you have a lot of options on 3, and then of course you have your late game Kotobane for refill. If we're gonna run Kotobane, you got to run Mancrick because the card feels really nice with that, and then Twin Bow Terracoil. This will finish up games real quick. You want to use this with your Piercing Shot and or your Aim Shot, and remember, you can Piercing Shot your own minions and it's going to do it twice, so you're automatically getting the 6 damage in if the first one kills it, plus the excess. It can do well over 10 damage very easily. Moving to Demon Hunter, this is DracoCat's list with 1 card change. He's a Demon Hunter main. He has the most wins with Demon Hunter in Hearthstone, so when he builds a Demon Hunter deck, I'm going to trust it. He hit Legend with this like day 1 or day 2 with like some ridiculous win rate. So the only change I made is I put Jace in the deck instead of the Fell Soul that was in here to copy the Abyss. And I only did that because I always draw the demon before I draw the demon girl, and she just turns into a 6 mana 6/6. So I just put in Jace, worked out really well. There's a shit ton of Fell spells in the deck, and also the new Fossil Fanatic is insane with multi-strike because you basically draw 2 Fell spells, and Fell spells are really good, and you need them to power up your Jace, and they do a lot of damage. So this deck did very well, very fast, and had a lot of like flexibility in its play. The Dread Prison Glaive felt just as good as ever, and your early game with the Battle Word Vanguard and your Slither Spear, again, still very good, and the Lady Syntho always carrying that mid game. So very good Demon Hunter deck, pumps out a lot of damage. Kind of bad against the Control Warrior, not gonna lie. If they do draw all of their AoE and armor gaining cards, it can be a tough matchup. But if you go against anything that doesn't have a shit ton of healing or a shit ton of armor, the deck's going to perform very well and kill them very fast. Moving to another very fast OTK deck. It actually got buffed with the new Shatter Shumbler. We actually made a video on this one already. This is the Bomb Deathrattle Rogue. The deck's insane. It kills people by turn 5, and it's basically between 5 to 7 every game. The problem is it doesn't have a lot of resilience against other aggro decks. So you kind of want to queue into like slower control, slower mid-range decks. Give this deck time to set up what it needs to do, which is basically play the Snowfall Graveyard. Your Death Rattles triggers twice. The Naval Mine, which is deal 4 damage to the enemy hero. So when one of these dies, it automatically deals 8. So you play cards like this, and it kills the bomb instantly. Of course, you also has a sketchy information. So this is draw. It's a 3 mana draw a bomb, deal 8. The weapon does 4 and then 8 as well. So this is like a 16 damage weapon. Again, if you have that Snowfall Graveyard out, and then of course you run the Knolls, so you have at least some minions to play in the early game. And also the chip damage from the Knolls is very good. While it is good and people are playing it, I think it's like one of the most unhealthy decks to exist, because it doesn't care what the opponent does, the opponent does whatsoever. Like, this deck solely just wants to kill you with bombs, which you cannot stop at all. So I'm hoping this deck doesn't get really good, but right now it is looking really good, so beware of the bomb rogue. And then the last deck on the list, this one came from McBanterface, posted it and said he hit legend with it with, like, again, a really high win rate. I think he said it was Gamer RVG's list. I liked it because, again, it does run new cards. It has the Jackpot in here, and the Jackpot adds 2 random spells from other classes that cost 5 or more to your hand. But the cool part is it runs the Trickster, so you know, like, you're using Jackpot, it's going to give you cards from other classes, which is going to reduce down your nulls, and then you can use your Trickster, whether you're using it with, like, Vessel, or you're using it with Sprint, or you got like a 10 mana spell or an 8 or 9 mana spell from Jackpot. You can get that down really early on, and it's really, really fun and really, really cool. Granted, I don't know if this is like the best rogue list, but McBanterface is tweeting it saying he hit like top, like, I think he hit like 24 legend with this deck. Obviously, there's something there, and it's probably pretty good. So with that, if I happen to miss out on any deck that you think is really good and up and coming, feel free to post that in the comment section below. That's what it's there for. And I appreciate you guys watching. Of course, I'm Robert Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.